Giving him an icy smile, I turned to some paperwork that was pending. For a moment, you were actually ready to be an adult, and yet here you sit, the same stubborn child I scolded this morning. Your ego is so big that you're ready to hurt yourself in the process, rather than backing down from a fight that you can't win. What a shame. I almost found you attractive. I looked at him with faint hurt eyes. Oh no, whatever shall I do? My oh-so-caring mate doesn't find me attractive. I better go doll myself up for him. I stood up and walked around the desk to stand chest to chest with him, staring him right in the ears to challenge him. I rubbed my hands up his arms. His arms tensed, and I knew I had him where I wanted him. I smirked at his reaction. Except I think mate forgot one thing. Smiling, I leaned towards into him, our bodies almost molding together. Would you like to know what that is, Alpha? With an unsure look, he nodded his head. Well, Alpha, you forgot the fact that I couldn't care less what you think of me. In a moment of weakness, I almost gave you the permission to hurt me, imagine. I almost let the person I loathe the most in this world, the monster who took my life away, me freedom away, my family away, have something against me. Well, guess what? I am so done with this shit. I have done nothing but act the part for that awful man, and I am not going to do it any longer. I'm not going to pretend to be happy. I am not going to pretend that you're the best mate. From now on, I am going to do this my way. I am going to be the person who I was before meeting you. See you at the Coronation, Alpha. I released his arms and walked out of the door. And also, how dare you call me a child when you throw a fit over everything, when the Alpha himself cannot manage his own anger. At least my pack was never run by a 4-year-old with a complex. I opened the door and walked out, not bothering to close it. I walked to one of the spare rooms and sat on the bed. I laid back and looked at the ceiling. It was plain white and black, just like my life. If I stared long enough, maybe I could hallucinate a picture. I don't know how long I stared at the ceiling, but laying down and doing nothing for so long was making me sleepy. Suddenly, there was a knock on my door, and assuming it was Zadin, I didn't move from my place. He would just come anyway. After some time, the door opened, and to my surprise, it was Lorcan followed in by a sheepish-looking Emma. Sitting up, I gazed at the mated pair before me. Hello, Lorcan and Emma. My voice was cold, but I swear I didn't do it on purpose. Being around Lorcan made me feel void of emotions. Hey, Luna. I cut him off by putting my hand up in a gesture to warn him. I am not Luna of this pack. At least not yet. I apologize, Riven. We heard you and Zayden fighting, and we wanted to make sure you were okay. Lorcan's words left me kind of startled. He wanted to see if I was okay. This is something so not okay. Why all of a sudden would he care? I sat in silence, staring at the girl in front of me. Emma looked everywhere but me until Lorcan spoke again. Emma mentioned to me earlier that you two had an altercation today, so I brought her here to work things out. And I will be cleaning up whatever mess Zayden has made in the office. So call me if you need me. So Zayden threw a fit again in his office. I felt smug at that thought now. I have another point to prove, that he is the one who needs to learn how to act with his mate normally, and not me. He is the one who's not mature enough. He can't even keep his emotions in check. I stopped my train of thoughts when I realized that Emma is still here in the room. When I looked towards her, I could see the tears in her eyes,
but I wasn't going to let her cry her way out of this. And why is she even crying? She is not the one with a complex mate. She's not the who's going to be a Luna. She's not the one who lost her only trustworthy person. Instead, she has such a supportive and a loving mate, unlike mine. Hi, Riven. I just wanted to apologize for the way I spoke to you earlier. That's not the proper, to treat someone who's expected to be a Luna. I know I have hurt you, but if you could forgive me, I will forever be thankful to you. I was speechless. So now I am just someone, a mere person who's expected to be a Luna. Wow. What?
Wow. What? I said, wow, Emma. Is it too hard to understand? Oh, okay. But why? I mean, expected to be a Luna? How about someone who is your friend Ems? You are literally the only person I have to talk to. And you just turned me down because you want me to follow the footsteps of your alpha. Oh, right. You're the beta female now, not my friend. Don't you think that I also want what you and Lorcan have? I wouldn't wish my life on anyone. It's exhausting. So, as a future Luna, I forgive you. After I am going to need your help, beta female. Also, let me know when you want the forgiveness of a friend. I added further. She looked at me and came over to the bed and sat by my side. Look, I didn't mean what I said earlier today. Of course, I want to hear what is going on with your life. But it's starting to feel like that's all you want to do. We never just hang out, sleep over, have fun, shopping, or simply have fun. I thought things would be so much different when I found out we were going to the same packs. See, I was not just happy but relieved too, because everyone knows the reputation of this pack. It's been hard for me too. And Lorcan and I aren't as perfect as we look. But you wouldn't know that, because you never asked. Can we just forget everything and be friends again? I would like that, because you have no idea how much I need a friend right now, and not an advisor, but I need to process this whole day. Can I have that? Looking disappointed, she nodded her head and left the room. My wolf whimpered, seeing Emma going away from us. But I consoled her, because we both need few days away from everyone to keep our mind stable. My wolf and I already think of Emma as sisters, so we can't stay away from her anyway. There wasn't much time to process anything because the next few days were filled with preparations. The coronation is tomorrow, and I had kept my word about not seeing or even speaking to my so-called pathetic mate. Normally, newly found mates like to stay close to each other, but in my case, it's different because the time apart was good for me though. I couldn't help myself and immediately got hold of Emma, and we had our fun together that we had missed since the day we came here. Things really were looking up. I decided the theme of after party and the music playlist. The decorations turned out to be really good, and the arrangement of tables and stage decorations were arranged by the one and the only, my mate. Emma kept me posted with each and everything. Things were really looking up. Emma and I were sitting in my spare room, which is currently my bedroom, going over the coronation only last time. Flipping through the papers, Emma looked up at me. So, how do you think tomorrow is going to go? It's been a while since you two have seen each other. I shrugged my shoulders and turned my head back to the papers. I am surprisingly not worried about it. It should go quick and I won't have to speak to him other than rehearsed lines. I am not a fan of parties. It'll be over before I know it. What about the marking? Do you still want to do it? I mean, you don't exactly see eye to eye. Honestly, I really don't care, Emma. The thing I care about is being able to see my family again. It's been so long I have seen them, although we didn't parted our ways as we should have, but I still love them. I just want to see them again, and phone calls just aren't enough for me. She nodded her head in understanding and stood up to take a long stretch. Then she walked towards the window. Outside, the setup was in full swing. The actual coronation would be deep in forest, but the after-party would be held here. A stage was being put in for DJ and live band, and the tables were being set up as well. The pack photo we took at the dance had been blown up and set out by cards for people to write messages in. It was Emma's idea, which, according to me, is terrific. If this has been at another occasion, I would be excited. But this day was going to give me a life worse than death. I am not excited for my own coronation. Does that make me a bad person? I have no idea. This was my mother's dream. She always used to say that I would become a Luna. Now I wish that she should have wished something else. A loving mate is infinite times better than a brooding and grumpy mate, even if he's a high-rank Oak member. I am just waiting for someone to come out of the corner and say, "Surprise, was a prank on you."
I have got to go and pick up your dress, Emma said after some time. Okay. Do you want to come with me? You have locked yourself in this room for long enough. She is right. It's been a while that I have come out of my current bedroom, and in this period, I'd spoken only to Emma. Yeah, just let me organize all this stuff and put these files away. Why don't you wait for me outside, and I'll meet you at the car? Aye, Captain. And then she turned around and left me. I shaked my head at her antics. I organized the papers. Exiting the room, my nose picked up the same scent that should have had my stomach twirling. I looked down the hall at the office doors and watched as they opened. Out walked the same person who I dreaded most right now. He had his head in a file, but sensing someone's presence suddenly, he looked up once he realized, I am there too. We looked at each other for quite some time, but I was the first person to break the eye contact. He dropped the file with a pretty loud sound. Dup. He stormed over to me and gripped my arms. He held me at a distance and looked over my body as if checking for injuries. His stare and hold felt pretty uncomfortable. I tried to wiggle out of his grip. His face was stoic, but his voice was calmer than I had expected it to be. How have you been, Riven? Okay, now he cares. But I must admit, my name coming out of his lips is something that I won't ever get used to. Rather than answering his question, I managed to get out of his hold and walked over to the spilled file and picked up the papers. Once they were put back in place, I walked back over to Zayden and held the file to his chest. His hands brushed mine as he grabbed it from my hand, and I recoiled at the tingles that were sent through me. Without speaking to him, I walked away from my mate, feeling confused all over again. I almost made it outside when my phone rang. Hello. Hey, it's Emma. So listen, I was getting late because you were taking too long, so I left without you. Sorry. She hung up on me, and I was left at the front door, looking like an idiot. I think she did it on purpose. Oh, Emma, you're going to feel so sorry once you get back. I will make you pay for this. Going somewhere? Zayden's voice was harsh, as usual sounded from upstairs.
Was? What? I was going somewhere, but now I clearly am not going anywhere. I replied, mirroring his voice.
For most wolves, they would be overly excited on the day of their mating ceremony. For me, I'd wished this day had never come. I dreaded waking up the morning of. I wanted nothing more than hide under the covers until all of this is over. Alas, I could not, as Emma bursted in and dragged me out of the bed. I so hate her for this. I prayed that something would happen, something would prevent this coronation. I prayed that fate would take pity in me. But nothing happened. I did nothing but scowl as I was forced into my coronation dress. Shoes made me feel as high as Giraffe. Then suddenly I remembered that out of everything I didn't prepare the vows. I have to do something. There's not much time left for the Luna ceremony to start, and I have no idea what I am going to say to him. Honestly, I want to curse him. But I also don't want to waste my words on him, neither good nor bad. I was here. No, I am here only to help glue his falling pack together. I had no other purpose here. I know I would never serve another purpose here. Shit. But still, I have to come up with some acceptable vows. But what should I say? Thank you for giving me this honor, but I don't like you. Or thanks, but no thanks, because I am doing this against my will. Damn it, this isn't going to work. After staring at the black piece of paper for the past 20 minutes, I finally called Emma in my room again, and I asked her for help. She walked in few minutes later, an amused expression on her face. So, you have no problem fighting me or the Alpha and speaking to the pack members, but writing vows is tripping you up? I scowled. I wouldn't be having problems if he was a decent person. Unfortunately, he is not. Or do you not remember? The amusement faded away in an instant from her face. Of course, I remember what happened yesterday. Are you still in pain? No. She sighed and pulled up a chair sitting next to me. Okay then, let's start. Please do. So what do you admire about him? Nothing. What do you appreciate about him? Nothing. What does he inspire you to do? Run away from here. She groaned loudly and ran a hand over her face exasperatedly. I can't help you if you don't give me anything to work with. Well, there isn't anything I like about him. Neither I need to. I am only here for the pack. A decision that was made by our fate, not me. I don't want to be here, but I have little choice in the matter. Well, you're going to learn to get along with him, or at least tolerate him. He's going to be around until the day he dies. There's nothing you can do about it. I know you don't want to be mated to him, and also you don't trust him. But at least try and be each other's friends. As much as I wanted to argue, it was sound logic. Only problem was that I don't want to be friends with him. I had no desire to be his friend, least after knowing his disgusting and cheap thoughts. Tolerate, I can probably learn to do. Yeah, whatever. Just help me write this damn thing. Emma snorted and moved closer. She grabbed the piece of paper and began offering ideas, ones that were continuously shot down by me. After much practice, my fake vows were ready for him. Emma insisted on redoing my hair. This girl is obsessed with my hair. She took about another hour to redo my hairstyle. After the final touches, she led me over to the bigger mirrors. The dress made me flushed at the sight of myself. The dress made my curves more visible. The dress was flowy and pulling at my feet. My hair was in soft curls. Small braids were pinned back to keep my hair back. Overall, I looked more regal, radiant. I truly look like a Luna today. Or at least, that's what I think. I turned around and found Emma beaming at me. Beautiful, she exclaimed in her high-pitched voice. Oh, my poor ears. We don't have much time left. I'm going to check the final arrangements. Until then, stay here. I nodded at her and watched her leaving.
She is such a little fireball. I shook my head at her antics. Goddess, this girl will be the death of everyone. I smiled at the thought and looked at my reflection again. And just like that, my smile vanished from my face. After seeing myself in this dress, I realized that after today, I will forever be tied to Xaden. How am I going to survive this? He hates me. He hates every fiber in my body.
Why can't he just let me go and mate to that bitch, whatever her name was? I suddenly felt suffocated in this dress. After his yesterday's behavior, I just want to rip my skin away wherever he touched. I just want to curl into a ball and cry. He's a monster. Yesterday's flashback. Going somewhere? Xaden's voice was harsh. As usual, sounded from upstairs. Was. What? I was going somewhere. But now I clearly am not going anywhere. I replied, mirroring his voice. I turned around and walked away from him. I could hear his silent footsteps following me. I turned again to face him with a neutral expression. What? We need to talk. Okay, speak. I replied in a bored tone. He opened his mouth to speak, but then closed it and repeated it a number of times. If there's nothing you want to talk about, then I should get back to the work. I have work to do, Alpha, so please don't disturb me, I said in monotone. Suddenly, his eye darkened, and he yanked me towards him. Because of the sudden movement, I crashed into his chest, inhaling the scent that makes Rhea drool. Not now, Rhea. She sobered up when I reminded her that what kind of an hole our mate is. I struggled against his hold and looked into his eyes. Alpha, can you let me go? You're wasting my time here, and I have work to do. No. What? I said no, little mate. There we go again, the little girl shit. And how am I an immature, and he is the mature one? And why is that, Alpha? Because we have some unfinished business to discuss. He suddenly turned me around and pushed me against the door so that his front was pressing my back. He dipped his head into the crook of my neck and inhaled deeply. I tensed at his action because it was nowhere a soft or loving action, but it seemed that his actions held hidden warning. Now listen, little mate, and listen good, because from now on you are going to follow certain rules that I'm going to tell you, he said while gripping my waist tightly. Rule number 1 from now on, you're not allowed to raise your voice at me. Rule number 2, you will not show me your back while I'm talking to you. Rule number 3, you will sleep in our room on our bed. Rule number 4, you are not allowed to break any of my rules, or you won't like the consequences. Have I made myself clear? No. Come again? I said no. I am not going to follow any of your stupid rules, and if you don't remove your filthy paws from my waist right now, I will reject you. He released an earth-shattering growl that made the walls shake. Listen, mate, I am trying here to keep my beast inside and tamed. You say that again, and I will not waste my time to mate with you right here, right now. And trust me, I am going to enjoy every moment of it, but I can't say the same about you. I struggled against him even more. I hate him now. So, now you're going to rape me. You are truly an alpha, but a disgusting mate. I spat those words venomously. He turned me around once more and gripped me tight enough to leave bruises on my hips. So, you want me to act like your mate? Why didn't you just say so? He said with a devilish smirk on his face. He suddenly lifted me and put me on his shoulder, like I weigh nothing. He carried me to the nearest room and threw me like a rag doll on the bed and straddled me. Before I could do anything, he took both of my hands and put them above my head. And once again,
put his head into the crook of my neck, and licked the spot where he will mark me. I struggled against him, but he didn't move an inch. I started kicking my legs up to kick him away, but he held onto them tightly. His eyes were dark and filled with lust. My heart hammered in my chest. He started leaving wet kisses on my lower jaw and started moving his other hand on my body shamelessly. I tried to squirm away from his touch, but he held me tightly. I almost gave up hope when I realized something burned inside me. It felt as if I was either getting a panic attack. I felt as if there's a huge weight on my heart, and my breathing became heavy. I started seeing stars, but when I felt something wet against my lips, I realized Zayden was kissing, and I saw my chance, and I bit him hard until we both tasted blood. He suddenly pushed me away, and I saw his eyes were now full of anger. He slapped me hard on my left cheek that I tasted blood again in my mouth. I am sure he bursted my lip. This angered Rhea, and in a moment of weakness, I lost control. My eyes flashed red, and not the original eyes of my wolf. Rhea is truly pissed, and now I could feel the strength that she's giving me to stay strong against him, to fight him. And so that's what I did. Now it's time to show him what I am really made of.
Zayden was shocked to see my red eyes. Well, anyone would be. Red eyes of a werewolf is a very uncommon thing. In fact, it's unheard of. But I always took pride in strength of my wolf. Right now, Rhea is royally pissed, and I am afraid that she's too far gone. Well, anyone would be mad if their mate tried to ray them. Zayden was still straddling me, but he halted his actions once he saw my eyes. Rhea snarled at him, and that's when I realized I already half-shifted. My canines elongated, and my claws were out, and I was looking for an opening to attack him. Zayden lifted a bit, and I took this opportunity to flip him down, and now I was straddling him. The lust in Zayden's eyes was long gone, and was replaced by shock. Rhea growled at him, and the whole room shook. The vibrations of glasses of the windows and tables could be heard. Now you listen, mate, and listen good. I am not Riven, who's going to tolerate your shit. I am Rhea, and what I demand is respect. If you can't give me that, then I'll happily reject you right now. Since the moment we met you, we have done nothing but respect your will, your pack, and your wishes. And what did you do in return?
Nothing. You've done nothing but disrespect us, despise us. But not anymore. If you think you can insult my human side, you're wrong. If you can us, then you're absolutely wrong. Because now I have the reason to not only reject you, but also kill you. And trust me, you have no idea what I am capable of. Just say the word, and I have the ability to give you a slow and painful death. I said the last part in his ears, and bit his earlobe lightly as a warning. With that, Rhea moved back and stood near the bed. Zayden got up too, and for the first time I could see the regret in them. Well, he should feel ashamed of himself. As an alpha, he's supposed to make fair judgments and should not act on impulse.
I could feel the embarrassment and hurt rolling off from Rhea. She's deeply hurt by our mate, but she's good in masking her emotions. Now the only thing that I feel right now is disgust. I am disgusted by him. He's not a strong, clever, and ruthless alpha that everyone think. Instead, he's a coward, pathetic, and a sorry excuse of an alpha. I started to leave the room, but a hand grabbed my wrist, and of course that hand belonged to none other than Zayden. Wait, your eyes, I scoffed. Out of all the things I just said to you, you want to talk about my eyes? No, wait, look, I cut him off. No, I am done with your shit. I am leaving. Hey, where are you going? He said it in a soft voice. Don't worry. I am not leaving you. I just don't want to see your face. Or I might lose my shit and actually attack you. I need to go to calm my wolf." He nodded and released my wrist reluctantly. By the time I reached the bedroom door, his voice stopped me again. But I didn't turn around. "Look, I lost control of my wolf. He just wanted you to claim you. I do remember my promise, and I totally understand if you're mad at me, but my wolf won't. Look, I haven't marked you yet, and that's why Henrar is always on edge. And when I saw you today, I lost control over him," he said in a soft voice, which held little plead and pain in it. "I don't care, Alpha. I have been controlling myself and my wolf too. If I hadn't stopped her today, she actually would have killed you. And don't ever doubt her strength. If she's quite then, it's because of me. If you keep up with that shitty attitude, if yours she will kill you without any regret. Like she said, you've no idea what we both are capable of. But I have learned to control myself, and I guess you need that control too. You've hurt us today, deeply. And tomorrow, don't be surprised when I don't mark you at the ceremony. You don't deserve to wear my mark." With that, I left the room and didn't bother to close it. When I entered my bedroom, Emma was already sitting there waiting for me. I knew it all along, that it was her plan to leave me alone with Xaden. She smiled when she saw me, but I didn't say anything, and I just hugged her, because right now, I desperately need someone to comfort me. She was shocked at my behavior, but didn't say anything, and hugged me back. After some time, when I calmed down, we broke the hug. She asked me what happened, and I told her everything. Oh my goddess, Riven. I can't believe this, that he could do something like this. I am so sorry, Riven. I never should have left you alone with him. It's my fault that you had to face all of this. I am so sorry. No, don't blame yourself for this, Ems. It's not your fault. It's entirely his fault. You are not the one to blame. He is. She nodded. Riven, why don't you go and take a shower, Elle? I'll bring some hot chocolate for you. Then we can watch a movie together. What do you think? Yeah, okay. After that, she left me alone with my thoughts. The thoughts that were filled with him and what he did. I could still feel his hands on my body, and it made me feel ugly. So I entered the bathroom, and I ripped my clothes off. I turned on the shower without adjusting the temperature. I entered in the shower and scrubbed my body to remove the feeling of his touch. I felt disgusted when his hands roamed around my body. I kept on scrubbing until my body turned red. Then I turned the shower off, changed my clothes, and waited for Emma. Present. I was on the verge of having a panic attack when suddenly there was a knock on the door. I took deep breaths to calm myself. I peeked my head out to see who it was and realized that it was Xaden's father who was waiting for me outside the door. I felt a little embarrassed to kept him waiting like that. Xaden's father looked at me and smiled. Look at you, Luna Riven. Xaden is a very lucky man to have you as his mate. I flushed and playfully slapped his bicep. Stop that. You're just making me more nervous. And you, of all the people, know that he does not see me that way. He rolled his eyes. Please, any guy would be lucky to have you as... If he can't see that, then he's seriously messed up in the head. If Xaden hears this, you're going to be in for it, Lorcan interrupted, who was also standing beside his father. No, I won't. And don't forget, whether you're an Alpha, Beta, or the King of Alpha, I don't care. I have the right to pull my son's leg. After all, you both are my blood.
even if he does tries anything, I've Riven here to protect me. He winked at me, and I smiled. I rolled my eyes at the two. They seemed to bicker all the time. Ricardo is the only one I'd seen to get a reaction out of Lorcan and Zayden. Later, Ricardo took my hand to lead me towards the stage. I took deep breaths as we came closer to where the ceremony would take place. Ricardo looked down at me. Are you ready? Do you have the vows ready? Do you know what happens after the ceremony? His voice was laced with concern. I nodded my head, too nervous to say anything. I have seen the other ceremonies, mostly of the warriors, where the mates just bid each other, claiming the other as their mate, and then they would go to their house and do not come out for about a week. That thought is quite scary. Being alone with Zayden, that's not possible. He is a workaholic. He won't be wasting time with me. This ceremony is different. It was mandatory for all pack wolves to attend. Only those on patrol were excused. But it was Emma's idea to record the ceremony and play the live telecast on a bigger screen near the borders so that warriors can witness the ceremony too. Emma is really thoughtful. She has the ability to see positive in every situation. But she have an amazing job. The last few weeks for her were chaotic because of all the arrangements, decorations, and everything else. Alphas from all over were coming, and the funny part is that not all of them were invited. I told Emma what I thought might be about 5,000 from our pack have now gone over 100,000. We have people coming from everywhere. I guess they either want to be friends with Zayden, or maybe they're just curious. I also came to know the king of all the alphas, and the head council members were also invited. Today, Zayden had to increase the patrols and number of warriors at the patrol. He also hired highest paid security firm that has a large team and has worked with the packs before.
So basically, there's going to be a lot of people. But I am more excited about meeting my family. The arrangement of tables, musical playlist, floral decorations, theme, after-party theme, stock bar, everything was arranged beautifully. The most exciting and thoughtful part was the barbecue that was arranged for the guards on patrol. My goddess, she have done an absolutely amazing job and was extremely thoughtful about each and every part while doing so. The lights are hanging through the trees. And the cake, oh my, I have never seen such a beautiful cake in my entire life. As I walked down the aisle with Ricardo, my nervousness level hecka up. Everyone's attention was on me. Zayden was standing on the stage, right in front of me. My blood ran cold when I realized that I am going to commit my entire life to this male who tried to rape me. He was wearing a traditional long gray cloak, flowed over his shoulders, resting lazily on the thick blanket of flowers on the ground. The stage was only several feet above from the ground, and the clock reached its bottom. The rest of his body was covered with black fabric. He had a regal aura around him. Moments pass by as I hold my breath and examine the figure that doesn't move a bit. He was standing like a stone, and it almost seemed as if it's a statue, carved with such a precision that anyone would bow in front of him. As always, he's just standing there, without emotions on his face. As if nothing happened yesterday. I could feel his heated gaze on me, which sends a shiver down my spine, and I could swear that for a moment, my blood stopped flowing. Oh, Moon Goddess, please help me to get through this ceremony. Hello, everyone. For more insights of the arrangements, you can check my Instagram by the name of Rebel Queen 21.
He watches me silently,
his eyes looking deep into my soul, unraveling all my fears and secrets. When I finally reached near the stage, he steps closer until he's standing in front of me. I could feel his body heat rolling off from his body. I let out a shaky breath as my stomach dips. The realization dawned upon me as I realized that now situation is going to worse between us. After marking me, he could read my thoughts if he wants, and I wouldn't be able to do anything. From now on, I will be helpless as a lamb in front of a hungry lion. But I decided this. This was entirely my decision. I couldn't share the pain inside with anyone, but suppress them deeper and deeper as they will continue to eat me up from inside. I am sure my expression mirrors his. My eyes are empty. Yes, I am dying inside, but I will not show it on my face. I don't know what to expect or what to do. Heck, I don't even want to be the Luna. I want to run away and hide somewhere. He wouldn't be able to find me. His eyes scan me from head to toe. The intensity and the possessive glint in them sends a shiver down my spine. He offers his hand to me so that he could lead me onto the stage. I am sure the huge swarm of audiences that are watching us would like to think that we make a great couple. He places his hand at the small of my back before leading me to the center of the stage. I feel thousands of eyes on me as soon as I turned around to face the people. I am on verge of collapsing, but Zayden's hand is reminding me to stand tall with my chin up. Everyone stands up and put their hands on their chest to say the prayer all together, to thank the moon goddess for providing us the gift of mates. A huge statue of the moon goddess looking down at the thrones. There's a huge pool at the bottom of the stage. It's filled with nectar, topped with flower petals. All the ministers of the head council and the king himself and his royal beta were present on the stage. They nod at us, and then Zayden leads me to one of the thrones. He takes his seat after I am seated. Soon, the head priest sieps in front of us before reciting some auspicious spells and addressing the guests. I zone out as I look at all the guests who have been invited to the ceremony. Mostly are from his own pack, but my eyes were only searching for another alpha. That's my brother and his Luna. I am able to distinguish my mother and father by their dark dressing theme. Alpha King is seated in the middle on a high chair. It's a rare occasion that he himself attends someone's ceremony. There are others who look bored by the head priest's small lecture. Even I am too. I see Emma trying to fight back a yawn, but her nostrils gave it away. I giggle slightly at her expression. I was also about to yawn, but I close my mouth shut instantly. I look at the ministers who are listening to the priest attentively, unlike me. They look bloody serious, as if planning for the next world war. After the head priest is done speaking, he faces me. Another priest cones to him with a gray book resting on an emerald green velvety cushion in his hands. He takes the book and then looks at me. May I? He asks gently as he bare his neck to us, which is a sign of submission. I nod at him before he gently hands me the book. It's quite heavy. Luna Riven, are you willing to take the oath? He asks in a loud voice so everyone could hear him. My mouth goes dry and stomach dips. Nigh heart is drumming in my chest. My palms are getting sweety, and the beads of sweet appears on my forehead too. I don't know if I am ready for this. I don't know if I am ready for all the responsibilities that come with such a tremendous position. Feeling my hesitancy, the head priest gives me a fatherly smile, ensuring me that everything is under control. I Rhea for some help, so she surfaces up a little to boost my confidence. I feel a new-found confidence and power filling me up as I sit up straight and tip my chin high. Rhea is taking charge. I am willing, I tell him sternly while looking him in the eye. Will you solemnly promise and swear to govern the people of Blood Eclipse Pack and the rest who've been created by the Moon Goddess according to their respective laws and customs? He asks again in a higher and clear voice. I could hear my heart drumming in my chest and Rhea coming to the surface as she hears each word of the oath. It feels as if she's waking up from her sleep. Each word seems to rattle her up, feed her more power. I solemnly promise to do so. I speak sternly while keeping my head high. Will you, to your power, cause law and justice, in mercy, to be executed in all your judgments? I will, I say, before handing over the book to the high priests. He takes it from me before another priest who is holding an emerald green velvet cushion on which a headband made, if moonflowers rests, steps beside the priest. I notice a dagger resting by the band. It happens to catch my attention more than the crown. The handle of the dagger is embedded with jewels, but its blade looks sharp enough to cut steel. And I know this is the moment where my fate would be sealed forever. The handle of the dagger is embedded with jewels, but its blade looks sharp enough to cut steel. And I know this is the moment where my fate would be sealed forever. Next, the head priest takes the headband made of moonflowers, which are considered sacred in our community, and holds it in the air above his head for the guests to see. He then turns around to face me before slowly bringing down the crown to place it on my head. All the guests are looking at us in complete bewilderment. Zayden is calmly sitting beside me. The head priest finally put the moonflower headband on my head gently. Then he passed me the dagger resting on the cushion, which the other priest has been holding all the time. I received the dagger from him and stepped forward to the edge of the stage before slitting my palm and putting it in front of the fire to let my blood drop into it. I, the Luna of Blood Eclipse Pack, solemnly swear by my blood that I will bring ill fate upon whoever threatens my pack and my people. I spoke while looking towards the audience. Blood kept dropping from my palm and falls into the fire, which turned blue for a moment, and everyone looked at it in awe. No one has never seen anything like this, not even me. It seemed magical. High blue-colored flames roared, and I could feel my wolf connecting with each and every person in the pack. Zayden stood up and walked towards me. He took the dagger from my hand, slit his palm too. I, the Alpha of Blood Eclipse Pack, solemnly swear by my blood that I will bring ill fate upon whoever threatens my Luna, my pack, and my people. He took his oath while maintaining eye contact with everyone, including me. We merged our sliced hands and raised them in front of the guests as a symbol that Zayden has accepted me as his mate and his Luna as well. And now was the time for our vows and the marking, so that our wolves could reach out to each other and accept each other. We let our blood mixed, and the power slowly seeped into me. I watched our hands for a moment, making sure that no blood stained my dress, even though it would never be again after this. I tilted my head up at Zayden as he began to speak. I am not an easy man to get along with. I've always been this brutal man. There was a flash of something, of sadness and regret, but it was gone as fast as it had come. I have accepted that I will never be that mate, the romantic, loving, and passionate one. It is not something I can do. He closed his eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath. Then he opened them and stared straight into my eyes. You have chosen this. You chose to stay with me. You chose to stand by my side and rule this pack with me. And for this alone, you are brave and strong, or really stupid." The guests chuckled quietly at that, and the corner of my lips also turned up. The road ahead of you or us will not be easy. It will be bumpy, rocky, and dangerous. But I believe that with you by my side, we will overcome the obstacles ahead of us. I couldn't tell if he meant what he said or not. He is so difficult to read. I am not sure how much of is true, but if he's willing to cooperate, then so am I. Now it was my turn. I took a deep breath and swallowed that knot in my throat. Then I spoke. Things may not have started well. This may not be well for quite some time, as I fear our differences may get in the way. This may take some time. This road that we are about to walk together may be bumpy, rocky, or dangerous, as you put it. This may be a lot of things. But I also believe that we will find happiness together. I believe that together we will just and fair and kind. And I believe that no matter the challenges ahead of us, we will have our happy ending. Whether or not Xaden had been truthful with his vow, but I certainly was. Then, with everyone witnessing the ceremony, and by the grace of Moon Goddess, I claim you, Luna Riven, and I claim you, Alpha Xaden. And with those words, he pulled me close, so close that my chest was flushed against his. My hands found my way to his biceps. One of his arms were wrapped around my waist, the other on the back of my neck, tilting my head. He brought his head to my neck. I could feel his canines elongating and grazing against my neck. And without warning, he sinked his canines into my skin. I could feel his wolf, Henrar, reaching out to me. But Rhea was silent. She didn't respond, and taking it as a clue, I didn't bid him back. I will do it once I am confident enough in our relationship, even if it takes forever. The wolves cheered as he claimed me, and cheered even more when he pulled away. He wiped his lips of any blood that could be there. He turned towards the crowd, and I did the same. "Let's go hunting." He turned towards the crowd, and I did the same. "Let's go hunting." I froze when I heard those words. I didn't know that it is a tradition here. I can't join them for the hunt. My wolf will be exposed, and the worst part is that the Alpha King is also here. He is going to lead the hunt. The rare color of my fur will attract attention, and I don't want that. How am I supposed to avoid this situation? Oh, Moon Goddess, help me. I have to think something, and fast. I saw the man and women stripping, in front of everyone. Many stripped out of their clothes, right there and then, at their alpha's words. I have never seen so many naked bodies altogether. My previous pack had average population, and when we went on runs, they didn't just suddenly strip in front of each other. We used to spread out respectively. Nudity isn't a problem among our community. It was accepted. One had to undress to shift, or they'll ruin their clothes. No wolf is ashamed of their body, not even the newly shifted, though they may be shy at first. But no one cared about seeing your body naked, not unless you were newly mated. Only then it mattered. Only then did wolves get possessive about others seeing their mate. But otherwise, there's no issue with nudity. Xaden, as if realizing how many naked wolves were before us, he growled loudly and put his hand over my eyes. Right. I almost forgot how possessive newly marked or newly mated males could be. Especially alphas. I have seen some of the calmest and gentlest of the males tackle another just because he had looked at his mate too long. I wonder how Zadin's going to behave after marking me. But right now, the main concern is how to avoid shifting here and avoid the hunt. What's wrong? I heard Zayden's concerned voice beside me. No. Nothing. Don't say it's nothing. I can sense your trepidation through the bond. Now tell me. Oh crap! I totally forgot about the mark. He can sense my emotions now. I'll have to be careful. Actually, it's, my wolf. Yes, it's my wolf. What about her? Actually, she is mad at me and you as well. She didn't want you to mark us because of yesterday. So that's why she is mad at me, because I let you mark me. So right now, she's not responding. She doesn't want to shift and join you for the hunt. So now your wolf is being stubborn. Perfect. Don't you dare, Alpha. It's one thing to disparage me, but it's another to talk about my wolf. I won't tolerate this. I warned him. He rolled his eyes and shook his head as if dealing with a kid. Fine. Stay here then. I'll tell everyone that you want to stay with the kids here to interact and protect them. I nodded my head. Wow. Why didn't I think of that in the first place? Because you are stupid. Wow. Thanks, Rhea. You're welcome. But you were right. What? I said you are right. I am mad at our mate. You shouldn't have let him mark us. It's tradition, Rhea. I don't have a say in this matter. You're right, I guess. But you should have let me shift. What? Why? Why not? You already know the reason. I did this to protect you. Yeah, but for how long? I don't know. I guess when I trust this pack enough. You know, I don't like this game of hide and seek. I know, Rhea. I just don't want to put you at risk. Trust me, you won't. I am strong enough to take down my enemies on my own. You do realize that we are not normal. Yeah, I do realize. And that's exactly I don't want unwanted attention towards Zeus. You do remember the attack that took place a few days ago, right? Yes, I do remember. But I was just holding back because of you. You should have let me out. I know you're capable. It's just, I fear that something would happen to us.
Nothing would happen. We are far stronger than a normal wolf. Our body stature, our strength, running speed, our eyes and other senses are far more better than a normal wolf. Hell, it's even better than the alpha. You're right, but something deep inside tells me that there's a reason that we are like this, and I intend to find out. Whatever, but I am just letting you know that I am fed up with all the hiding. Next time, I won't ask for permission, and I will take over. Fine. Just give me some time. I will check the werewolf's history to see if there's anything I can find out on our fur color. Yeah, whatever. She turned around with a huff. I think it's time I start investigating on this matter. I knew since the moment I shifted for the first time that we were not normal. Our fur color, our body stature, our unusual eye color, everything is definitely not normal. Maybe I should check in the pack library. I checked my previous pack's library, but found nothing. Maybe I will find here something. From tomorrow onwards, I will start from the pack's library and then the central library. Hopefully, I will find something here. Suddenly, I heard the sound of the pack howling. It's a sign of happiness, victory, celebration. They are happy for their alpha. They are celebrating that their pack have a mother now. It's also a sign that they have accepted me as their Luna. As the night began to descend, the wolves and other guests treaded back to their discarded clothes and shifted back to their human form. This was the time for me to get nervous.
because the guests and the pack wolves will be enjoying the after party, while the me and Zayden, we will be celebrating a different kind of after party in the bedroom. Shit. Should have thought about that too. Shit. Should have thought about that too. Newly mated males are extra horny, and it isn't like that this is a once and done situation. I know I am expected to have his children, to bear his heir, unless we decide to do it artificially, which is possible. Only the chances of pregnancy decreases. I got startled as a hand landed on my shoulders. I didn't realize that I had been so deep in thought. I looked back and saw Zayden, who only wear gray pants now. His hair were mused in a boyish way, making him look younger than he already is. He held out his hand for me. I swallowed my own saliva, but put my hand in his. I can't disrespect him in front of his own pack. We have to pretend to be a happy couple. I walked beside him, smiling softly at the pack members as we passed. I saw Emma, and she gave me a thumbs up, only she's the one who's well aware of my situation. She wished me luck. We both were silent as we treaded up the stairs and through the halls. I kept my head forward, not daring a glance at Zayden. Not until we entered his room. It was then I realized how close we stood. Our hands were still joined, barely an inch of space between them. I tried to pull my hand back, but his grip tightened on my hand. He pulled me towards him, and on instinct, I put my other hand on his chest to keep our bodies separated. We have to. His voice was hoarse. No, we don't have to. I meant it when I said that I won't let you touch me. I pulled my hand back and left his room. What did I get myself into? My reality is turning into my worst nightmare. I watched the land covered with moonlight like snow before me through the window. I am back in my previous room, trying to tell my internal turmoil, which continues to hollow me day by day. There's this despair and frustration inside me that I want to take out in any form possible. I am suppressing this part of me, deeper and deeper each day, and it's suffocating me. I heard a knock on the door, knowing who it was. I didn't answer the door, but after some time I heard the door open and closed faintly behind me. I could feel his presence in the room, the way the air buzzes with electricity, and the way this tension builds inside me. He stands just behind me as his eyes linger on me. His hot breath fans on my neck, and goosebumps erupted all over my skin. I close my eyes and swallow the lump building in my throat. I opened my eyes and saw his faint reflection in the glass of the window. Sometimes I find myself asking the moon goddess that why am I paired with this heartless monster? I took a deep breath and turned around to look at him. I stood up for this man. I was insulted by him again and again. I was almost raped by him. Why? What did I do to deserve this? Why, moon goddess, why? Look, I know, after what I did, you don't trust me anymore. But try to understand, I just marked you. My wolf will go crazy if you aren't by my side. If we don't complete the mating, it will hurt you even more. You can get yourself killed if you can't tolerate the pain. You know that, he said with a concerned voice. Then, let it hurt me. I don't care anymore. My life have become a living nightmare for me. And after all, death is much better than being with you. And if... I swallowed hard and fought back the traitorous tears that were trying to escape from my eyes as I picked my next words carefully. I want to hurt him as much as I am hurting. I can't do that to him physically, but sometimes words have more power than the actions. If I am to hurt him with my words, then they should be sharp enough to pierce through his steel heart. And if it destroys you and your wolf, then I will accept death with open arms. His eyes darkened at my words, while a tear escaped my eyes. He stepped closer until our toes were touching. He turned me around. His breath is fanning my face. I am burning from inside, and Rhea is silently weeping inside me. It's her pain that's burning me from inside even more, and I meant what I said. I'd rather be dead. He raises his hand before gripping my chin and making me look at him. I feel one of his hands go around my waist before he pulls me flush against his hard body. My hands are on his chest, but I don't even try to push him away this time. If you want to destroy me, then your tears and the distance between us is more than enough to make me lose my sense. He trails off as he wipes the single tear away with his thumb. I am sorry. What I did yesterday was wrong in every way. I lost control, but don't you dare to talk about death in front of me, because I won't let you leave me. You are going to stay with me as my Luna, whether you like it or not. And about my wolf, I'll take care of him. But mark my words, Luna Riven, I won't let you leave me. Not even death will be able to separate us. My chest is heaving up and down as he finishes speaking. I'm looking at him in surprise while he's looking down at me fervently. The intensity of his gaze is trying to melt me. I want to run away from him, but I know that he'll follow me. I am tied to him. I clutch onto his body as if my life depends on it, before I bury my face into his chest and sob silently into it. I let the tears out. They have been pooling inside me for a long time. I hate how his presence calms me and makes me safe. Yet he is the person I hate and fear the most. His hand rests at the back of my head as I cry, and I cry my heart out, wishing that my depression and frustration could leave me in the form of tears. I just needed more time. I don't trust you. At least, not yet. Try to see it as my point of view. From the moment we've met, we have done nothing but fight. We never tried to communicate with each other like a civil person should, I said, while sniffing into his chest. And if you really hate me that much, then why can't you just let me go? I know that it will hurt you and me as... He growled, making me flinch a little away from him. But he held my waist tightly. He listens to me carefully as he sits on the bed and cradles me on his lap, while I keep my face buried in his chest. The room is silent except my silent sobs when I am done telling. He keeps running his hand through my hair constantly, while his other hand is wrapped securely and tightly around my waist. Why do you always reject my touch? And why do you hate me so much? He said after some time. I listened to him and contemplated whether I should tell him or not. I don't hate you, Zayden. I never did. But according to me, a relationship is based on trust. And honestly, don't get me wrong, but I don't trust you, at least not yet. If you don't trust your partner to be faithful, honest, caring, or anything else, then you are not in a good relationship. The best relationship begin with the deep trust, and even if problems came up, that trust is strong enough to keep you together. We have not developed that kind of trust between us, I said in a single breath. You are right. Relationship is based on trust, and to be honest, I never trusted you too. Look, I am new at this, but I am also trying to control my wolf. He only wants to mark you and be mated to you, and I want to wait too, to see whether you can handle the pressure of being my Luna. I raised my head from his chest and looked at him. I could tell that this isn't easy for him too. He has never shared his feelings with anyone before, and that made me feel better, that I am the one he chose to share his feelings with. I smiled a little. Thank you. What for? For sharing a teeny tiny part of your feelings with me. His eyes softened a bit. Sleep with me. I froze at the statement. But he cut me off by putting his rough and calloused finger on my lips. I know what you're thinking, but don't worry. I just want to sleep beside you. I will only hold you. Your scent will make my wolf calm. I marked you tonight, and the need to stay with you is overtaking my mind, and my senses, and Henrar is not helping either. If you stay with me, he will calm down. Otherwise, I am not going to be able to focus tomorrow. I am an alpha. I need to be able to present mentally, emotionally, and physically in every pack meeting. I contemplated whether I should go with him or not, especially after yesterday. After much thought, I decided to join him. Rhea is not happy with my decision. She wants to punish him by staying away from him. And honestly, I want to punish him too. But when I saw this new side of him, I decided to give him one more chance. If he screwed it this time, I am leaving him for good. I will not care if this will hurt me, but I will not be a pushover. He will have to learn to trust me, to respect me. We both entered his room together, and I chose the right side of the bed to lay down. Zadins was watching and observing me. Maybe he was making sure that I'm not leaving. I turned off the lights and got under the covers, turning on my side. I tensed slightly when his arms slung over my waist and tucked me into his warm body. He gently rubbed my back and drew small circles on my waist until my body felt relaxed. And soon I drifted off to sleep, dreaming of him, and suddenly that dream turned into a nightmare when he tried to hurt me.
And soon I drifted off to sleep, dreaming of him. And suddenly that dream turned into a nightmare when he tried to hurt me. And I tried to fight him, but it felt like my body was tied, and I couldn't move a finger. He was standing in front of me shirtless, with a devilish smirk on his face. He started removing his pants, and I struggled even more, knowing where the things are leading. But no matter how hard I try, I couldn't move. I tried calling for help, but no voice came out of my mouth, as if I was a mute. After removing his pants, he charged towards me and ripped off my t-shirt. His next target was my trousers, but then I jolted awake, and it took me a moment to realize where I was and to remember that it had been just a dream. Yeah, it was just a dream and nothing else. I slowly slid out of the bed, putting my pillow in Zayden's arms when he reached for me. It was covered in my scent and should keep him realizing that I'm still sleeping with him in his arms. It was difficult to slip into the closet and back out again without making any noise, but somehow I managed. I collected all my hair and put them in a ponytail and a headband on. I laced up my running shoes, then quietly made my way downstairs. I put my earphones in and put on some upbeat music. I then pocketed my phone and began to run. Running helped me clear my mind. It gave me a sense of peace and also made my legs look great. I took the woods, running along the path, and run until I could think of nothing but my shoes hitting the forest floor. And until I could no longer feel my legs, I ran until my lungs and my feet gave out. And then I finally stopped running when I couldn't run anymore. When I felt my lungs were going to collapse on me, I was bent over at the waist, hands on my knees, and panting. Suddenly, I felt some rustling behind a tall bush, and a few moments later, guards popped back up they had behind me in wolf form. A female guard stood next to me
This is it. This is the end. I wish I could have gotten to say goodbye to Xaden. I closed my eyes, waiting for the end, but it never came. There was a terrible growl, the one I knew well enough. The growl of an alpha, the growl of my mate. I whined at the familiar black wolf and sagged. I knew I would be safe in the presence of my mate. He would protect me. I heard the distant crashing of others fighting. They must have heard me scream and came running. Good thing too, or they would have been dead too. I still felt like I might. Blood. There was so much blood. Around me pooling, and most of it was from the rogues. Wolves healed fast, yes, but they could still bleed out. I could still bleed out. Tired. I was so tired I just wanted to close my eyes and go to sleep. The pain had faded away. It was all numb. I was numb. But there was something nipping at me. It was uncomfortable to sleep with something nipping at you. I opened my eyes, or at least I tried to, and saw a big alpha standing above me. He was picking up on my human hand, nudging me, nudging my hair, nipping at the back of my neck. Somehow I had turned back to my human form. I sighed. I wanted to say goodbye, but I didn't have the energy to open my mouth, much less speak. So I just closed my eyes again, only to be nudged again harder. The alpha even barked this time. I wanted to wave him off, but I couldn't seem to lift my hand, much less a finger. I am sorry, I thought as I drifted off. Narrator's Pav. The alpha kept nudging his mate. She couldn't go to sleep. He would lose her if she did. He couldn't lose her. He kept whining and whimpering, trying to urge her to get up. There was a movement in the corner of his eye. One of his pack member was moving closer. He was going to steal his mate, or so he thought. He growled up and bit at him, and he jumped back. The alpha settled back over his frail mate, protecting her. He wouldn't let anyone touch her, harm her. He would kill them all before letting anyone near her. No one would ever touch his mate again. No one. Someone else moved forward, and he growled again, biting at him. He sensed someone approaching from behind, and he turned and snapped at her as well. They kept moving in from all sides, and the alpha kept driving them away. His mate moved, slightly catching his attention. He moved off of her and leaned his muzzle down to her. His breath caused her hair to stir. He nosed her cheek. "Come on, move, get up. Be well, my mate." But no matter how much he wanted her to, she just wouldn't get up. A woman approached, carrying a bag at her. The alpha quickly covered his mate and snapped at the woman. She bared her neck to him, but did not back away. Instead, she crept closer. He was about to pounce on her when his beta interrupted. His beta growled, though he bared his neck when the alpha towered over him. The beta rubbed up against his alpha's side in a calm and soothing manner. His beta barked, reassuring him that the woman was there to help his mate. He only shifted his body when necessary, and he kept a close watch on the woman. He would not allow her to hurt his mate, his precious mate. When the alpha heard his mate make a sound of discomfort, he growled and snapped his jaws in warning to the woman. He would kill anyone who will try to hurt his mate. She was his to protect, and he had failed her, so he would not let it happen again. The woman spoke words he could not understand. The woman continuously was trying to make him understand that they need to shift the Luna, their Luna, to the hospital. But the alpha couldn't understand a word. All he knew was that the woman had stopped, and his mate was not better. What is happening? Why isn't she better? Someone moved forward. The alpha watched him very carefully and cautiously, but when he started to reach for his mate, He bit his arm. No one would touch her, take her, or harm her, at least not on his watch. He let go of the man and back up to his mate, taking his place back over her. Suddenly, he felt as if there was something sharp pierced through his thigh, and then slowly, everything went black. The Alpha lost consciousness. The pack members moved their Alpha and Luna to the hospital. The doctors and other healers were trying their best to save their Luna. She had lost too much blood, but one thing was sure, that she fought bravely with those rogues. The word got out fast that their Luna saved the warriors from the surprise attack of rogues. And also the Luna's wolf was different than any other wolf that has ever existed in the werewolf history. How was it possible? Was their Luna normal? Or she was hiding something from the entire pack? No one knew the answers of all these questions. Not even their own Luna. Only time will tell what's going to happen. Continuing narrator's POV. Zayden woke up with a jolt. He looked around trying to identify his surroundings. One thing was sure, he was not in his room. The question was, where was he? And why was he there? He sat up in the bed and looked around. The infirmary. That's where he was. His eyes landed on the Riven, his mate, laying on the bed next to him. And she looked terrible. She had several bandages wrapped around her, and there were more bruises. Then he could count. Right. The attack. Rogues had attacked his mate. His mate. He had lost control of his wolf. He just remembered his vision going red when he saw that rogue ready to kill her. But she fought bravely with all those fools who dared to hurt her. He just remembered the bits and pieces after that. He slid off the bed and dressed in the clothes left for him. He pulled a chair up next to her bedside and sat down. He swallowed and ran a hand through his hair. I am sorry. It's my fault. You were hurt. I didn't protect you. This was his mother, all over again. He didn't protect her, and he lost her. And now he could lose Riven, his own mate, because he wasn't strong enough or fast enough to save her. He had been sitting there for over an hour before the door opened and the doctor walked in. He raised his head to look at her. Alpha. She bowed her head in respect. He nodded and turned his attention back to his mate. He only lifted his head to her when she spoke again. She will recover, Alpha. We are keeping her in a medically induced coma to help the healing process. We will take her out of it when she is healed. She will probably be sore for a couple of days, but she'll be okay, she said as she checked her Luna's vitals. The wolf's bane is still wearing off, so you may be drowsy. They had to inject you with some to knock you out so we could treat Luna. He just nodded. He reached his hand up and brushed out Riven's hair out of her face. He would never tell her, but he didn't mind her company. When she wasn't being nosy, she was actually quite enjoyable. He always admired her, adored her, and enjoyed her feisty attitude. But he never showed it to her. If they had lived in another life, another world, he could see himself falling in love with her. But this was not another life, another world, so he could not fall in love with her. It was impossible, but perhaps he could be her friend. If she would stop poking in places that should not be poked at. He barely registered the doctor sleeping out, and his brother stepped in. Lorcan placed a hand on his shoulder. Her family is waiting for her to wake up outside. Her mother and father are still here, but her brother won't be able to make it. But he wants to talk to her when she wakes up, just to make sure she is okay. Zayden couldn't do anything but nod again as if he was numb. She is a strong girl. she is going to be fine. The worst would be that she will have a scar, his brother said as he took a seat in one of the other chairs. I know, he murmured at last. Both the brothers sat in silence, watching the Luna before them, waiting for something or for anything to happen. It was almost dusk by the Riven's mother and father appeared. They couldn't wait and burst into the room, her mother crying out at the sight of her daughter. She rushed to her side, gently picking up her hand and holding it. Her father looked as though he had seen a ghost. His face had lost its color as he took in the sight of his daughter. Then he turned to Xaden, and his eyes went from sorrow to rage. Perhaps Xaden wasn't fast enough, or perhaps he didn't care to block the punch that his mate's father swung at him. He heard the crunching and the breaking of his jaw before feeling, but it was nothing compared to what his heart felt. He didn't stop him as he pulled Xaden up and slammed him against the wall. You were supposed to protect her. She was supposed to be safe here, you bastard. She was supposed to be safe. It took Lorcan and 2 other guards to haul Riven's father off their Alpha. When asked what to do with him, he simply said to let him go. His family needed him right now, and he could not do that if he was locked up in a cell. The father walked to his mate's side, slipping an arm around her. She turned her head into his neck and sobbed badly. Xaden was fine up until that point until he heard his mate's mother cry so painfully. It was too much for him. He needed to get out of that room. He needed to break something or break someone. He would kill all those damned rogues for doing this. I will give you some privacy, he said, and turned on his heel. The guards and his brother following him out. His gamma met him halfway to the cells, and he knew why his Alpha was here instead of being in hospital with his mate. We managed to capture a couple of rogues from the attack. They haven't spoken yet about who was behind this. Brandon gave him a quick report as they walked in. He nodded. Good. Torturing always helps simmer his anger, or it would at least make him feel better for the time being. The stench was awful in the cells. The smelling of blood, sweat, vomit, and other body excrement. If he wasn't used to the smell, he would have gagged and thrown up, but he had been down there enough to have gotten used to it, or at least not feel like losing the contents of his stomach. Brandon stopped in front of 2 cells in which the 2 rogues were occupied. They were both bloody, not having been cleaned, nor taken care of. It did not matter, they would be dead soon enough, Xaden thought. He gave a silent command to the wolves on duty. They grabbed the first rogue out of the cell. He fought them, but was too weak already to do any real damage. Xaden followed behind as they took the rogue to one of the room levels under the prison. It was far enough that his pack members would not hear the screaming. Xaden was silent as the yelling and thrashing rogue was strapped to the metal chair. He dismissed the guards with a flick of his hand. The Alpha had yet to speak. He was studying the rogue, a boy. He was no younger than 17, or by the looks of it around 17. His hair was cut the chaotic from the fight. He was dirty and bloody, but well-fed and trained. Rogues were not supposed to have been taken care of. And yet, this boy, this rogue, before him, was obviously taken care of. Something was not right. Rogues were crazy creatures that hunt without reason, emotions, and planning. But this attack seemed planned. Xaden finally opened his mouth, speaking in a quiet, but not in a weak voice. Why did you attack my mate? The boy grinned madly. Because she was there looking so pretty and happy. She was the perfect opportunity to bring you down, especially now that you marked her. Who was behind the attack? No one. This time, Xaden smiled. Let's try that again. Who orchestrated the attack? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think there's someone behind the attack? This time, Xaden smiled. Who orchestrated the attack? And when the rogue refused to answer again, that's when the screaming started. Xaden tortured them continuously, without giving them the break, or without taking a break. He was hungry, not for food, but for blood. The next day, he stand in the corner of the dark hospital room, with his arms crossed over his chest. The consistent beeping coming from the machines that are hooked up to his mate are setting his nerves on edge. His wolf is fighting him and trying to take over, but he is controlling him. His eyes stays on her, watching her chest rise and fall with each breath. She has not regained consciousness yet, and it's eating away at him. She looks like an angel laying there. Her skin is flawless, and her soft curls fan out around her in a fairy halo. Her body is thin with gorgeous curve. Unfortunately, he can't see her beautiful eyes and stunning features while she sleeps. He just stand there girding her with any possible threat, even though he knows that no one can touch his mate here. Still, he wants to be sure. He still remember what she said the other night. Then let it hurt me. I don't care anymore. My life have become a living nightmare for me. And after all, death is much better than being with you. His mate decided to choose death over him, but he won't let her die, no matter what. He will protect her. There is a light knocking on the door, and he turns to see who it is. The nurse comes in, followed by his brother and Emma. Emma's eyes are red due to crying. Everyone's waiting for their Luna to wake up. Xaden's turn his gaze to catch the nurse eyeing up Xaden with a smirk, before she walks over to check the monitors hooked up to his mate. Xaden's wolf roll his eyes and growl at her, but Xaden simply ignore her and turn towards Lorcan and Emma as they approach Xaden and speak softly. How is she? Any change? His eyes shifts back to his mate's sleeping form. No change. Lorcan nods, but Emma's eyes tear up when she hears this. Knowing Emma needs time, Lorcan leave her in the room. She's very strong, you know. It's not easy to fight the mate bond and act more practically, she says in a timid voice. Xaden says nothing because deep down he know that already. It takes a lot of mental and emotional strength to fight the mate bond. From the start, Riven only wanted to take things slow with him. She wanted to build trust between them, because trust is the main and most important key in any relationship. Xaden do realize that he underestimated his mate and insulted her intentionally, hurting her wolf in the process. But his little mate's courage and willpower is much more strong than he ever imagined. She still stayed with him, hoping that he would change for her sake. Xaden regret that now. He clench his fists. His head and heart are at war. His head says that his pack is most important to him, and he shouldn't lag behind just because his mate is hospitalized. Meanwhile, his heart and his wolf says that he should stay with her to give her strength that she needs through the mate bond. Finally, his head wins out. He need to put his pack first, right now. Once she wakes up and is out of harm's way, she will be escorted to my room. Are you sure about that? Emma asked in a shocked voice. Xaden's wolf growls, and so do him. You dare to question your alpha? He hiss. Emma instantly puts her hands up in surrender, I am just making sure you have thought this through. Everything she feels, you will feel because of the bond. He sets his jaw in determination and nod. I am sure. I know what I am doing. Emma opens her mouth as if to speak something before thinking better of it and closing it once more. She simply sighs and nods, taking his word for it. Between the two of them, beta male and beta female, Emma is the one most likely to challenge Xaden's decisions. She is the next hid female. After Luna, and always ask the hard questions when he needed. Sometimes he appreciate it, and then there are other times such as now, where it just annoys him. He allow another glance at his mate before turning back to Emma. I want 2 mated guards posted outside her door and another 2 at each of the hospital's entrances. Inform me once she wakes up. The only people I want coming in and out of here is the approved medical staff, either of you or myself. But no one will touch her, except the doctors, not even you. You are allowed to visit her, but you will watch her from afar. Emma stands straight and nods at the command of the Alpha, before clearly using their mind-linking abilities to give out orders as he leaves the room. Xaden decided that he can't stay here any longer, or he might lose his resolve. It will be best if he stay away until she is absolutely fine.
He briskly struts down the hallway and to the elevator and push the down button. He leaves the hospital to throw himself in important paperwork.
Riven's POV. I was taken off guard when someone hugged me. Not someone, Emma, my first friend, not my mate, and the only friend who actually care about me. You have no idea how worried I have been. They wouldn't let me come and see you. I mean, they gave me permission to come here, but asked me to watch you from afar. She blabbered. I couldn't work. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I laughed and untangled myself from my friend. Well, I am fine, but I am flattered you are worried. That earned me a smack upside the head. Yes, you are lucky that you are okay. You could have died. You would have if they had not knocked out the Alpha. That statement. It made me froze at the spot. What did she mean by that? Xaden was difficult. Yes. But why would he need to be knocked out? I asked through my thoughts. It was surprising, so I asked her about what happened. His wolf completely took over. He would not let anyone touch you. He bit one of the younger wolves and kept snapping at the doctor. They had to shoot him with the low dose of wolfsbane to knock him out. It would have been cute had you not been bleeding out. It was hard to believe that he could behave like that. He is always so calm and composed. We chatted for a long time. The nurse came and completed the final checkup to make sure that I am fine. Then they discharged me. Emma took my hand and led me up to the Alpha's wing. My numerous guards followed behind and in front of me. I tried to tell Xaden that having guards around me were too much, but he wouldn't hear of it, and I had not pressed him on the issue since. Yes, we talked about keeping the guards until after the Luna ceremony. I guess from now on he's going to be adamant about me keeping the guards forever.
We came to our room. I mean mine and Xaden's room, and I took a long shower to remove the scent of disinfectants from my body. I then changed my clothes and walked out to see Emma sitting on the couch with a magazine in her hand and a glass of juice in other. This girl is crazy about fashion magazines. Emma set her empty glass down. We should go out and have a girls' day. Get our nails and hair done. A massage. As wonderful as that all sounds, the big bad Alpha won't let me leave the pack house. If I even try to get close to the door, my shadows will intervene. But that doesn't mean we can't have one here. We can do our nails and watch chick flicks. Even better, I'll pick out the movies and snacks, and you go get the polish. And with that being said, we both split up going in different directions. I gathered my things from the bathroom. She carried them to the living room and sat down on the coffee table next to the bottle of wine for her and juice for her and some candies. So, what are we watching first? I asked her. Mean Girls. I like what you're thinking. Each of us filled our wine and juice glasses and took a sip from it. Emma turned the movie on, and we both curled up on the couch. We watched several movies and went through several glasses of wine and juice. She wouldn't let me even touch the wine. We painted our fingers and toenails. We talked about our childhood memories and shared embarrassing stories of our siblings that had us laughing so hard that we snorted. Even the due-to-guard stationed in the room released a chuckle now and then. Narrator's Piaf. It was well after the dark by the time Zayden finished with his meeting and paperwork. He dismissed the guards as he passed them. In the hallway, he slipped inside the bedroom quietly, knowing his mate would be, or at least should be, asleep by now. Henrar was clawing continuously at his head and kept on bugging him throughout his meetings for leaving his mate's side.
He was baffled to see his brother's mate head laying down next to his mate on the couch. He mind-linked his beta. Lorcan came after few minutes. Zayden pointed towards Emma and gave him a signal to take her away quietly. Zayden then scooped up his mate in his arms and carried her to their bedroom. A smile formed on his lips as her arms wrapped around his neck, but disappeared as soon as it formed. No, emotions could not get involved. She was only here to be the glue that held the pack together and bear him in air. Things would get too complicated if feelings got involved. They would be distracted from what they were there to do. He could not allow that. His pack was his #1 focus, and it had to remain that way. He laid her down on the bed gently and tucked her under the covers. He was going to press a kiss to her brow, but he stopped himself. He skipped on the shower and just got ready for bed. He could take a shower in the morning when he was not in danger of passing out due to exhaustion. He climbed into the bed and pulled his mate against his chest. So he was spooning her to soothe his wolf, that was the only reason. Not because he wanted to, not because he was worried, but because his wolf was. Yes, that was it. Then they both finally drifted off to sleep.
Narrator's POV. There was a heavy weight on his chest when Zayden woke up. It took him by surprise. Why would there be something so heavy on him? It wasn't like he had a pursuit. His eyes flew open and looked down. Somehow during the night, he had rolled on his back, and his mate had turned in his arms. Her head lay on his chest, and one of her delicate arms rested on his bare stomach. He sighed and brushed back her hair. What was wrong with him? Why was he acting this way? He was brutal and heartless, a stubborn and most ruthless alpha of the country. So why was he behaving as if he had a heart? Why did he care about this girl? She was only here to be his Luna. But he still doubted her abilities about being a Luna that his pack needs. She's a fireball. Zayden thought. He shouldn't feel such things for anyone. And yet, here he was, feeling something for this woman. He couldn't let that happen. He can't think like his wolf. His pack is at stake. He can't let that happen. He couldn't let whatever was happening between them
go on any longer. He maneuvered out of bed, hoping that he would not wake her up, but failed miserably. She sat up and rubbed her tired eyes. She groaned. "What time is it?" "Early," he responded. "Go back to sleep." She nodded and laid back down. "Sleep sounds nice." She nestled under the covers and fell back asleep. Xaden smiled. Damn it. He did it again. He smiled at her. He didn't smile, especially to his mate. He really needed to distance himself and end whatever was going on. After he had showered and dressed, he walked downstairs to the kitchen. The cook already had a plate with breakfast for him, as she always did. He ate in silence, glad to be alone. The past few days had been hectic. Since his mate had woken up, he had been kept busy with meetings to block his wolf. He had to meet with Border Patrol to increase the security. He had to meet with the commanders of his pack to post more guards around the pack and increase the training. He had to meet with the trainers to increase training and push for more newly shifted to join the pack. He had to meet with his commanders again to order them to enforce a strict curfew and rules for all the pack members, especially the Omegas and the pups. He had met with the wolves that were working in recreating a concoction to cover a wolf's scent, but they had nothing but failure. Xaden was so stressed out that there was a very good possibility of all his hairs turning gray within the next year. That was, if he didn't go bald first. It was at this point in which he almost wished that he had an older brother who was Alpha, so he could be free to do as he wished. Almost. He loved his pack and his people too much to hand them over, but the stress was enough to make anyone go crazy. That's why it was best to take over the Alpha position when one had a mate, so he had a rock to keep his calm. Xaden thought a half hour ago that he could not get any more stressed. Turns out he could. The reports on the mission that he had ordered over a week ago had come back with nothing. There was barely any path to follow. The tracks were a dead end, and so was the rogues and hunters' scent. They hadn't found where the rogues or hunters were grouping, or even if they were working together, or who did they to orders from. It was nothing, and that made him more pissed than anything. These Rouges had definitely learnt from their mistakes. He had a feeling that something big was coming, and that there would be more casualties than the last time. He just hoped that whatever was to come did not catch the attention of humans. The last thing they needed was humans to find what they were and experiment on them. There was a knock on the door. "Come in." His beta, Lorcan, stepped in. He grimaced at all the paperwork that was loitering the desk. "Having fun, Alpha?" Lorcan teased. In the glare he received, he raised his hands in a surrender motion. "Guess not. What are the reports saying?" "Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We have no idea where the rogues are, who they follow, when their next move is. There have been no attack reports in other packs. It's the calm before the storm, and this storm is looking like it is going to be a big one. And right, it looks like we are the ones receiving most of the damage. I hate to say this, but you have done everything you can. You have opened security, training, you have set curfews, and more rules. There is nothing more we can do, except wait and prepare ourselves. Keep in touch with the other packs. Try to reform alliances." Xaden hated that his beta was right. He hated that there was nothing he could do. Nothing but wait and prepare. They talked for some more time, and then his beta left. Xaden stayed there and looked at the office phone for a good long while before he finally picked it up and dialed. No. What? Why not? As long as there's still a threat from the rogues, you're going to have your guard, Xaden said, with his arms crossed over his chest and a grim expression. There haven't been any sightings of them for 3 weeks. There have been no attacks anywhere. There's been no word from them at all. It won't hurt if you dismiss at least half of them. I am not going to do it. What if they are waiting for us to let our guard down? What if the moment I cut your guards in half, there's going to be an attack, and you'll most likely end up in the middle of it, and you'll end up in the hospital room, or worse, a grave. So no, you will be keeping the guards until the rogues have been eliminated. This is not up for the debate, Riven, so drop it. But there are always going to be rogues, I exclaimed. You might be able to kill off the masses, but there are always going to be rogues out there, wanting for revenge or whatever the hell else they want. What are you going to do them, Assign another 10 guards to follow me around? 20? 30? I have no privacy. They follow me around everywhere and report everything I do. I can't even piss without one of them, standing outside the bathroom door, listening in. Curious wolves popped their heads into the kitchen to see what the commotion was about, but instantly left when they realized it was use, arguing again. The cooks had left at the first sign of our arguing, so we were left alone in the kitchen. But we weren't really alone because almost everyone in the pack house could hear us, and most likely wolves nearby the pack house. They are here for your safety. So yes, it means you don't have the privacy you are used to, but it also means that you are protected. So you need to shove aside your complaints and realize that it is worth. If it means you are safe, Xaden bellowed. Why do you care so much about my well-being? When I first arrived, you could not wait to insult me, humiliate me, and hurt me. So why the hell do you care now? Because I just do, damn it. You are the Luna of this pack. The pack needs you. So yes, I do care about you. I thought for a moment and decided to let this matter slide. After all, we can't always fight like this, especially not in the kitchen where everyone can hear us. One of us have to back down from this debate, and I don't want to pressure him anymore. I can't help but feel sad about his treatment towards me. Ever since I came back from the hospital, he's avoiding me like a plague, and it is hurting me. Again. I thought he wanted me. I thought his wolf wants me. But no, it's still the same excuse, that his pack needs me, and not him. I sighed and looked towards him. He ran a hand through his hair. He leaned against the table and closed his eyes when he opened them. I moved forward and hugged him. Our bodies molded together perfectly. Oh, goddess, this is going to be hard. He wrapped his arms around me too, but didn't say anything. Only until this is all over. Then I just only want 2 guards. I murmured into his shirt. He brushed back my hair and said, Fine. Compromise. At least we can do that. He tilted my head up and looked into my eyes. As he was about to say something, Lorcan interrupted us. Is it safe to come in now? We are all hungry, especially me. I missed breakfast because of a meeting, he said. You have your own kitchen. Why didn't you just go back and eat something? Asked Xaden. I laughed at their exchange and pinched Xaden's side. Yes, it's safe now, Lorcan. We won't keep you from your lunch any longer. Lorcan informed Emma and the others, and they all came filing back in. The cooks resumed making lunch, and they all took their seats at the table. The wolves sat after us, just like the tradition goes in every pack, as if nothing happened. In the middle of our lunch,
Zayden checked his watch and whispered something in Lorcan's ears. After that, Zayden got up and left the table, without glancing at me. After some time, Lorcan left too. I am sure that this is just another meeting about the rogues. I should also help him. I can't just sit and wait. He's already pressured enough about the recent rogues' attack, and it is quite crazy if they are planning something against us, because everyone is very well aware of the fact that Zayden's warriors are the strongest, and he's also an extremely good fighter. Blood Eclipse Pack is well known to be the strongest pack of the region, due to obvious reasons. But still they are taking the risk of attacking his pack. Something doesn't feel right, as if we are missing something. What if they are not here to hurt anyone? What if they are here to collect something, or maybe someone?
After completing my work in the office, I decided to spend some time with children at the daycare. When I reached there, they all got excited and asked me to join them to play hide and seek. We played for quite some time. Then they all agreed to take some rest, and then we all joined together in the backyard for the story time. Several children were perched on me, and others were tugging on me, wanting to be held next. Children, please, settle down before you scare away the Luna. The daycare lady scolded them. Sit down or we will skip the story time and go straight to nap time. The pups settled down in my lap, and others leaned against me. The pups loved story time and would not miss it for the world. I began reading from the storybook once more. The children had their attention on the words I said, but as the book went on, more and more eyes began to drop. By the time the story had finished, over half of them had fallen asleep. Several were drooling on my lap, and others too clutched on my t-shirt so hard that I had to pry their hands off me. I gently laid them down on the floor and stood. Thank you. The kids really enjoy spending time with you. The daycare lady whispered, so not to wake them. Of course, I love spending time with them. They are little angels. I smiled. They are, though they can be a pain in the ass at times. I giggled quietly. When are you and Alpha are planning on having your own little angel? The lady asked. I got startled at her question. Not sure yet. With everything that has been going on, we haven't really had time to talk about it. Of course, after this. Problem, I expect to see your beautiful baby. Eyes running around with the other children. I gave her a tight smile and nodded. We'll see. Goodbye. I'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Goodbye, Luna. I got back to our room, where Zayden was already there drinking. I walked up to him and waved, and he nodded in return. He poured me a glass of wine and handed it to me. I took a sip from the glass as he poured his own. What's wrong? He asked, first breaking the silence between us. Nothing. I am just tired. That's it. I sighed. No, you're not. Excuse me. You're not tired. You're nervous and confused. I can feel it through the bond. Oh, yeah. Actually, I was in the daycare today and I was thinking about something that the lady said to me. Nothing major. If it's nothing major, then why are you feeling so conflicted? Can you please stop reading my mind? He shrugged. Can't help it. The daycare lady asked me, when are we going to have our kids of our own? He froze. If you're not comfortable with... He cleared his throat. I mean, we have to. But we can... This is the first time he's out of words. The big bad Alpha is embarrassed. Nice. I like it. He looks cute. But I snorted at his nervousness. Let's wait until after this rogue situation is sorted to have this talk. He sighed with relief, I guess, and then nodded.
What are your plans for rest of the day? And tomorrow? I shrugged. I was thinking of going into town to spend some time with pack members, or maybe go and help some others out. I am not sure. He nodded. Why don't you come and help me with the rest of the paperwork? I have stacks on my desk that I really don't want to go through. I laughed and drained my glass. Let's go then. I put the glass back on the counter and took his hand, and surprisingly, he did not pull away, as would have a few weeks ago. We walked together to his personal office. He held the door open for me and shut behind him. He walked to his desk and asked me, "Choose a stack." I chose a smaller one on purpose. He scowled, "Leaving the big stacks for me." "I see." I laughed and grabbed a pen. "Yep." He grabbed a pen too and started going through one of the stacks. We worked together for hours, silently. Mostly, there were a few times that I asked him for the meaning for a few things, or asked for his opinion. When the clock striked, he tossed the papers he was reading on the desk and stood. He stretched and ran a hand over his face. "Come on, it's time for dinner, unless you would rather stay here and keep working." I put the papers down and stood up. "Let's go. I don't want to stay here another minute." He laughed, and for the first time, he laughed wholeheartedly and reached out a hand for me. I took it in a blink. My hand seemed so small and soft in his big and calloused hands. Our hands fit perfectly together. We walked to the dining room. Other wolves were already gathered there
around sitting and chattin'. But they all stood as we entered together. The wolves sat after we did, and a few moments later the food was brought out